Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this week's webinar. Today, we'll be discussing strategies to improve nutrition and mindful eating in the workplace. Our guest speaker today is nutrition expert Trista Chan. Hello, Trista.
Hey, Abina. Thanks for having me, and I'm really excited to be sharing my expertise in nutrition and my experience in really just sharing strategies and educating the public on how to eat well, both at work and at home.
Fantastic. And I'm your host, Abina Asekobana, and I love my job at Optimity because it enables me to have a positive impact on people's health and quality of life. And I do this by working with organizations on implementing wellness strategies for their employees. So we're excited to have about 100 people join our webinar today. And as we're still waiting for everyone to arrive and settle in, let's take a minute to go over logistics. Firstly, please connect to the audio using your computer's microphone and speakers. You can also turn on the sound by switching on the Use Telephone option once you've joined the webinar. All guest lines are muted to avoid background noise, and after this webinar, the recording and slides will be emailed to you to share with others. In the handout section, you'll find a Willis Wellness Trend Report and Optimity case studies. So Optimity is a digital wellness platform that helps employees be successful at work through micro-habit training. It improves their quality of life and helps organizational leaders understand the pain points of their employees' health. It is a fully integrated solution with mobile apps, wearables, and an online portal, and you can compete against your friends and get rewarded for your healthy behavior. So today, we have a dynamic and info-packed webinar, and we'll give you some strategies that you can bring right back to your organization. So I'll be introducing Trista to you shortly and handing over the floor to her so she may share some nutrition strategies and useful checklists to help you get positive health outcomes. She'll be sharing a bit about nutrition education, healthy eating strategies, and eating habits in the workplace, and a 2017 checklist for setting you and your company up for success. Then I'll be sharing some of our digital wellness strategies, our case studies on healthy eating, and give you 3 tips on getting the best participation for your initiatives. So just to share a bit more about me, I'm Abina, a wellness advisor for corporate wellness strategies at Optimity. My background is in public health and holistic wellness, and my work at Optimity is mainly to create content and customize programs to target an employee's top health issue. I'm also happy to introduce Trista, a colleague of mine and certified nutrition professional and workplace wellness specialist. Her background is in clinical human nutrition. However, she decided that preventative health was her passion and branched out to explore holistic health in a workplace setting. She is certified in both nutrition and workplace wellness program development and works with clients to share best practices and strategies on running effective health programs. So now I'm going to hand the floor over to you, Trista.
Thanks, Abina. So I'm very happy to be joining Abina on this webinar today. Nutrition and health promotion, wellness, just essentially healthy living has been a very, very lifelong passion of mine, actually, and I'm very glad that I have the opportunity today to be able to share my personal tips, my strategies on how to eat well, and just basically provide a, I guess, nutrition education to anyone who may be interested. So why is there the focus on healthy eating? Traditionally, food was thought of simply as a mechanism for survival, right? It's something that we have 3 square meals a day. It's basically just essential for our bodies to function properly. So long gone are those days. Nutrition is no longer seen as something that's simply needed to live. Now we really focus on it as part of our holistic well-being, a component of our lives that can help us thrive both at work and at home and really any context. I'm sure we all know how nutrition can help with our biofunctions, with However, there's an increasing body of research that really notes its effect on our mental, physical, emotional, even spiritual health. It's really just an essential part of self-care. So not only does it provide energy and prevent many chronic health risks and diseases like we traditionally know, now the increasing body of research is showing that it decreases stress, it improves your mood, and it even goes as far as to improve your social connectedness. So think about, the importance of family dinners, the importance of maybe that Friday lunch that you and your coworkers go on. All of this has to relate back to nutrition and your relationship with food and how it really affects every part of your life. So for the next bit, I'm going to focus on the components of a health diet. That is, how do we eat in a manner that ensures what we eat is in moderation, that ensures we eat a variety, so eating the rainbow is what I like to call it, how we balance our meals and our snacks and ensure that we're able to get all the good things that we need for our body, and when it comes down to it, just really getting adequate nutrition. So I'll also break down two main groups of nutrients into macronutrients and micronutrients. You may have heard of these, and explain exactly what foods they're found in. So our bodies are pretty complicated, meaning that there's a whole lot of nutritional needs that we need in certain proportions, during certain times, in order to survive and function. The composition of our diet is really essential to meeting these needs, and therefore it's important to really understand the difference between the two types of nutrients. So the first type is macronutrients. You've probably heard this before, and what macronutrients really is that it breaks down to three different types. There's first carbohydrates, protein, and fats. Each of these have their own specific roles and functions within the body and supply us with calories, which is just another word basically for energy. And for this reason, the body requires these nutrients in relatively large amounts to help you grow, to develop, to repair your muscle tissues, your organs, and just overall feel good as well. So each macronutrient is almost found in every single item of your food. So whether it's a sandwich you're eating, whether it's that salad you're eating, it has some form of ratio of the carbs, the protein, and the fat. The only difference is that how these macronutrients are balanced. So as an example, the nutritional composition of an avocado, let's say, is generally made up of 75% of the good fats, 20% of carbohydrates, and 5% protein. Clearly, this is a fat-based food. On the other hand, a banana consists of 95% carbohydrates with only small amounts of protein and fat. So the real trick here is to understand how each macronutrient plays a different role in the body and then tailor your diet accordingly to your own personal health goals and what you want to achieve. So carbohydrates, they're comprised of a small chain of sugars, which your body then breaks down into something called glucose, which acts as your body's primary energy source. In fact, it's actually your brain's only energy source. So if you ever heard of anything like the Atkins diet or any, low carb, high protein diets, you may be seeing results in terms of weight loss in the first few months. However, they aren't sustainable, and you'll miss out on a lot of nutrients and minerals by following this. So there are good carbs and bad carbs, and the carbs that the media usually plays as being the villain is really simple carbohydrates, which you want to avoid, and these are found in desserts. They're found in refined wheat, white bread, for example, ice cream. All of these are simple carbs. And what you want to focus on are the complex carbohydrates. So there are things such as whole grains, quinoa, oats, millet, sweet potato, fresh fruit. They should really make up about 45 to 65% of your diet. And I don't want to just throw percentages at you and make you calculate your calorie intake and then try to calculate the, ratios after that. So later on, in a few minutes, I'll show you how to actually just use simple guidelines to make sure you're getting the right proportion of the carbohydrates, the protein to the fat. So the second macronutrient is protein, which is really essential for repairing and regenerating your body tissues and your cells. So after a long workout, for example, that's the nutrient that's helping you regenerate those muscles, making it stronger. And it really helps with the healthy functioning of an immune system and helps you manufacture your hormones, actually. So some great sources of protein, aside from just meats, as you know, we do always want to choose lean meats, but there's also eggs, peanut butter, beans, pulses, legumes, seeds, nuts, and soy. And once again, I'll show you in a bit on how to easily portion that. And finally, fat is the last macronutrient. I know everyone's afraid of fat. It's seen as the villain. People are going on fat-free diets. They're looking for a fat-free salad dressing, but they're actually a very, very essential part of a healthy diet. They help with brain development, which is essential for toddlers and young children. They protect your organs. They help with hormone balance. They insulate your heat, so they make sure you stay warm. They regulate your temperature. And they also help with nutrient absorption. So without fat, you wouldn't be able to absorb any sort of vitamins or minerals. So it really is the backbone for a lot of healthy functioning systems. And similar to carbohydrates, there are bad fats versus good fats, right? So the good fats are called unsaturated fats. They're the ones you're trying to look for with olive oil, avocado, walnuts, almonds, seeds, olives, and they're the ones that you want to incorporate more into your diet. And saturated fats are things similar to carbohydrates. There's a lot of parallels, actually, that are found in a lot of desserts. So they're found in the ice cream, they're found in chips, and those are the ones that you're trying to really eliminate. And the second main category of nutrients are micronutrients. So they're not needed per se in the same quantities as macronutrients. However, they are still equally as important. So these micronutrients work in tandem with the macronutrients to really keep the body functioning, and it's crucial in order to maintain energy levels, to maintain your metabolism, to really help with cellular function and help with overall physical, mental, and social well-being. So rather than going to the specifics of which types of foods have different types of macronutrients, as it does get very complicated from this point. The main takeaway is that no one plant can really contain a certain type of micronutrients. So everything from vitamin A, B, C through K, any minerals, they're found in a combination and in conjunction of several different fruits and vegetables, eggs, fortified products. So the main strategy here to get your micronutrients is just to eat as varied as possible. So now that we've had a quick crash course about the two main nutrient groups, I'm going to actually solidify this and talk about 5 tips for healthy eating and then move on to 3 strategies to implement it into your everyday life. So the first main tip that's really tangible that you can easily implement starting today is really just to go for whole grains. So the general rule here is to make at least half of your grains whole grains, and examples of these are whole grain breads, whole oats, oatmeal, there's pot barley, there's bulgur, there's whole wheat pasta, there's quinoa, and these are all just very, these are complex carbohydrates. And these are what will keep your heart healthy, prevent the risk of cardiovascular disease in the future, and these are the ones that will keep your blood sugar levels steady as well. So whole grains are filled with fiber, they're filled with all that good stuff that'll make you feel full and satiated hours after your meal. They'll prevent diabetes by ensuring that your energy is converted smoothly and there's no spike in blood sugar levels. So whole grains are a great combative food towards cardiovascular and diabetes diseases. Obviously, there is portion control, which I will go into, but generally the rule is one slice of bread counts as one serving, or half a bagel, half a cup of rice or pasta. And you want to aim for about 6 to 8 of these servings a day. So some easy tips that you can bring straight to your home, straight to your work, starting now, is really just making small switches here and there. So these micro changes that is going to lead to really lasting habit building when it comes to incorporating more whole grains into your diet. So that's things such as making sandwiches with whole grain breads, adding barley, lentils, and brown rice to soups and stews. If you're already making it, why not just add half a cup. It'll really help with the texture as well, I find. Replacing your white pasta with whole grain pasta or whole grain crackers. If you like baking, making cookies, making cakes on the weekend, perhaps you can try and make it a little bit healthier, just a little bit, without substituting taste, by using whole wheat flour. And finally, paying attention to serving sizes as well. So my second main tip for healthy eating is to load up on vegetables and fruit. And I know this sounds very intuitive already. Everyone knows you should eat more fruits and vegetables, but it can be very hard if you're not used to incorporating this into your daily life. So they're packed with nutrients and fiber. So something as small as, one piece of fresh fruit, or half a cup of cooked veggies, 1 cup of raw leafy vegetables, or half a cup of 100% juice. You can start inserting these into your daily life without really making a big change in your habits. So for example, making a commitment, maybe at home with your colleagues, for example, to try a new vegetable or fruit each week. Something as simple as adding berries or half a banana over your whole grain cereal. Or making a routine to start dinner with a salad with dark leafy greens, which is filled with iron and fiber and all this good stuff. Making a rule to fill half your plate with vegetables. And adding a handful of spinach or kale to your fruit smoothie. So with little changes like these, you can get really creative. I find vegetables are very, very versatile. So you can add them in any stews, any rice bowls, smoothies, for example. You can add them in your omelets. The third main tip is to make your day with a lot of milk or fortified alternative products. So milk products are packed with protein, they're packed with calcium, they're packed with B vitamins. I remember growing up that my doctor every year during my yearly checkup, he would make sure that I was drinking at least 1 glass of milk a day. And that's because it's essential for growing bodies, for bone health, and especially for women who are maybe higher risk of osteoporosis. Really ensuring that you get your milk products in throughout adult life as well is really essential to preventing that disease. And on a side note, they're also delicious. So just enjoying a cup of milk or fortified alternative beverage, such as soy milk or almond milk that's fortified with nutrients, having, let's say, 2 tablespoons of cheese or 3/4 cup of yogurt about 2 to 3 times a day. That will help you prevent bone health or deterioration. So some easy tips as well is to add milk to the soups, to casseroles, to pasta, perhaps make it a bit creamier, your pasta sauce. Having low-fat Greek yogurt, and if you're not a fan of yogurt, I get the texture can be off-putting for some people. Add it to berries, make a parfait out of it, put some granola, make it a dessert perhaps. This one, I know a lot of working professionals love. Instead of having a cup of coffee, I'm not telling you to perhaps sacrifice your coffee, but actually changing it to a frothy latte. So it's made with a larger amount of milk and sneaking it in through that way. Simply enjoying a small bowl of cereal with milk, or having cheese cubes with whole grain crackers at your desk for an easy to grab snack. And my fourth tip is to go with lean meats and meat alternatives. So they're a great source of protein, iron, zinc, and other nutrients. So just making lean choices and preparing them with little or no added fats. You can also enjoy some alternatives. There are chickpeas, there's kidney beans, lentils, soy, tofu, nuts, seeds. Trying to get your protein doesn't mean you always have to eat meat. And a proper serving that you're trying to aim for about 2 to 3 times a day is half a cup of cooked meat, poultry, or fish. 2 eggs is also counts as a serving. 3/4 cup of tofu. There's really 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, so you can easily pack in some protein into your breakfast. You can throw it on a piece of toast. You can put it in your smoothie. You can put it in your oatmeal, or just sprinkling a 1/4 cup of nuts and seeds into your salad or your stir fry. So some easy tips are to bake, roast, grill the meat, fish, poultry. As you can tell, all these cooking methods are very low in fats. You can season it any way you like. You can enjoy, the general guideline is to enjoy at least 2 servings a week of fish. So fatty fish like salmon, like trout, like mackerel, they're great sources of protein. You can add in half a cup of lentils into your rice. You can add it into your omelets. You can make tofu burgers. And finally, once again, just sprinkle seeds on the stir fries, salads. Just grab half a handful of nuts and mix that in with your granola for a really protein-packed snack during the day. And finally, my last tip for healthy eating is to choose healthier fats. So fats, one reason why I love them is because they do add flavor to all your dishes. However, there's a lot of health benefits as well. So things such as hormone balance, there's heat insulation once again, like I was saying before, and nutrient absorption. So healthier fats can be found in olive oil, canola oil. About the guideline is 2 tablespoons each, or a 1/4 avocado. It's fine, we don't have to. I know a 1/4 is a very small amount, so even extending that to a half an avocado is also a great idea for a serving size. And we're trying to aim to about, once again, 2 servings of these a day. So some easy tips is to add some healthy fats into your salad. So I know that may sound very counterintuitive, but these are healthy fats and they do help with your general well-being and with weight loss in the long term. So just adding a tablespoon of oil with vinegar, lemon juice, some salt and pepper to your salad, or perhaps try mashing avocado onto your sandwiches or your crackers, throwing that into a salad perhaps. Replacing butter for oil when you're frying foods, and just having a small handful of almonds or nuts with your fruit as well, as they are very also high in healthy fats. So those are 5 tips on how to incorporate healthier food components into your eating. And just to make it as easy as possible for you guys to take this home, and instead of having to count, is it half a cup of this, is it 2 tablespoons of this, I'm just going to give you 2 methods to really control your portion sizes. So by eating according to these guidelines, you're able to ensure that you're getting the right balance of nutrients. You're getting the right balance of whole grains to the proteins to the fats very easily. So understanding portion sizes can usually be very difficult. Many of us don't know what a healthy portion is, or if you're told, you don't want to carry around a list or try to memorize, you know, like 2 tablespoons of this, for example, is a serving of oil, half a cup is a serving of vegetables. So one way that I like to explain to people I'm educating is that use the healthy plate model. This is the absolute easiest guideline to get the proper proportion of foods. So for every plate that you're eating off of, aim for filling half of it with fruit and vegetables. So whether it's a salad, whether it's grilled vegetables, whether it's a smoothie and some salad on the side, try to aim for non-starchy vegetables. So when I say non-starchy, I mean like potatoes, sweet potatoes, and yams. Unfortunately, they do not count for filling up half of your plate, as much as I wish they would. So try to go for fresh or cooked green leafy vegetables and fruit. And so the 1/4 of your plate, aim for those whole grains that I was speaking about, right? So whether you're going to fill it with quinoa, whether you're going to fill it with a few whole grain crackers or a slice of toast, aim for that to fill up a quarter of your plate. And then on the last quarter, last but not least, is your meat and alternatives. So that's the tofu, that's the salmon, that's the, the fatty fish and the lean meats or the lentils that you're trying to fill up. So if you try to model every meal by this healthy plate model, then it's safe to say that you'll be meeting all of your nutrient needs. And if you're not eating off a plate, if you're eating, let's say, from a bowl or just a regular sandwich, you can just simply use your hands to portion out sizes. So usually per serving or per meal, you're trying to get a fistful of grains and starches. So if you just take out your fist right now and put it into a little bowl, that's the size of, let's say, the bowl of rice you're eating, or the size of the bagel. So it would be half a bagel approximately. Now, if you take your hands and you open up both of your palms and put them together, that's how many vegetables you should be having per meal. Actually, vegetables, this is a guideline for them, but it's actually basically unlimited. So you can never really have too many fruits or vegetables. So basically as much as you'd like or you can fit into your plate. In terms of meat and alternatives, if you open up your palm flat now and you look at the size of your palm and the thickness of your hand, that's equal a serving of meat and alternatives. So whether it's a small piece of salmon fillet, whether it's some tofu slices, it should be approximately this size. And finally, the fat, so the olive oil, the canola oil, should be the size of your fingertip. So that's approximately 2 tablespoons is your fingertip. So you literally have these portioning control tools attached to your body. So this is a really easy way to go around and really judge how many types of foods and amounts you should be having. And of course, these are just general guidelines. I know I've been saying should, but it's more so recommended. So obviously, these are guidelines, and allow yourself to have a cheat day. If you had a very healthy week and it's the weekend, it's your daughter's birthday party, for example, just go for the extra slice of cake. If you want more, if you feel like eating simple carbs, you can fill up that into your part of your healthy plate model. So it's really no rules. It's really based on allowing yourself to be aware of these different healthy eating habits. So that was my first strategy on how to really incorporate all those 5 healthy components into your diet. And my second strategy is to really meal prep. So this is my absolute favorite. This is an easy to execute strategy. It's meal planning and prepping. So if you're here, you're interested in wellness trends, perhaps you're working in workplace wellness, then you've definitely heard of this strategy already, and for really good reasons. So personally, this is my #1. I know a lot of my colleagues do this as well to ensure that we eat healthy meals and snacks throughout the entire week. So I've said many, many times that it's much easier to eat nutritious foods and control portions when you have it easily accessible for you. So what exactly is meal planning? So it's the process of taking a few hours out of your week to really prepare meals and snacks for the following few days. So it's really essential to help keeping healthy, making healthy eating habits a priority, perhaps if you're trying to lose weight, perhaps if you're trying to control your diet and ensure you get a certain amount of nutrients. And this is because when healthy foods are ready and available, we're much more likely to eat these foods instead of ordering out, or let's say dropping by the closest fast food vendor or shopping at a store for a quick snack. One thing that really helps mentally as well is that I find it also really helps reduce my stress and my anxiety when I'm trying to figure out what to eat every single day at every single meal. It's just something that I don't want to have to worry about on a daily basis. So just think about moments, perhaps it's now, perhaps it's coming up, when you're hungry and you don't know what to eat, and those feelings can cause stress. I know it did for me. So when you're hungry, I can't focus on anything else until I eat, and that's when my habits of grabbing the closest burger, for example, kick in. So having food prepped ahead of time really ensures I won't eat something that I'll regret about 5 minutes after I inhale it that I don't even enjoy as well. So in addition to the health and emotional benefits, think about just the money and the time you'll save. So the first step for meal prepping is to plan. The first thing I do for my weekly food prep day is to put together a weekly meal plan, put together a grocery list. My personal meal plan includes all 3 meals and snacks. This way there's no confusion about the food I should be eating throughout the day. It's quick in and out. I know exactly what's going to be going on throughout the week so that I don't have to worry about it. I recommend keeping your food plan simple. Don't go overboard with new recipes. Choose your old favorite ones that you know you'll like, ones that are tried and true and tested. And I usually find that it's easiest to keep breakfast, snacks, and lunches all the same throughout the week. However, that's just simply a personal preference. So if you want to do 2 different types of meal prep and alternate so there's more variety, obviously feel free to do that as well. So the second step is during my food prep day, depending on the meals, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to complete. So for me, this is non-flex time. These are my Sunday afternoons. I take it as seriously as I would do as a work meeting, for example, or a job interview. I ensure that I prioritize this non-flex time. Once I do complete all my meal prep, I divide it into storage. So as you can see in this photo over here as a guideline, I actually portion out the meals throughout the day so I can quickly just grab it from my fridge, and I just label it and refrigerate. So just by spending 2 to 3 hours a week, you're able to easily save a lot of time and stress when it comes to eating and ensure that you're eating healthy. However, some tips is to start small. So 7 times 3 is 21 meals. I'm not saying we should go from 0 to making 21 meals in one day on a weekly basis. So if you want to start with 3 days, extend it to 5, and then make it 7, please do. It's all about what you're comfortable with. The second tip is to keep it simple. So once again, no fancy recipes when you're first trying out. If you want to experiment later on, go for it, but I do recommend trying recipes or using recipes that you're already familiar with. The third tip is that don't stress yourself worrying that you have to cook it all. So meal prep can be done in simple stages, right? So it can be something as simple as chopping and cleaning your veggies and pre-portioning them. So you can grab it as part of a salad later on and toss it all. Or it can be something as simple as pre-portioning smoothie ingredients and freezing it so in the mornings you can quickly grab a bag of ingredients and throw it into your blender. And the last tip finally is to learn more. It's all about a learning process, this whole wellness journey, and the meal planning and prepping is no different. And my last final strategy is to practice mindful eating. So simply put, my approach to mindful eating is really just being present with your meal and learning to pay attention to what you put in your mouth, how it makes you feel. And I know it sounds very simple, just being present. You're thinking, I'm already here, I'm already eating, what more can you ask from me? But think about the last time that you actually sat down with your food in front of you and with no distractions. So no iPhones, no tablets, your TV is off. Even books count as a distraction when it comes to mindful eating. So just truly sitting down and focusing on nothing but your meal. When you do that, you're able to truly pay attention to the textures, the flavors of the food, your thoughts, your feelings, and sensations. As a busy professional, I am most definitely guilty of mindlessly eating. I eat at my desk sometimes, and just think to yourself, out of our 100 participants here, I think it's safe to bet there are a few attendees who are eating right now, perhaps snacking. I know to my left of me, there's an open bag of carrots and hummus, so I am guilty of this too. But by moving away from your desk, setting time apart to eat, and moving away from distractions, and focusing solely on your meal, you learn to pay attention to how full you are. So over time, you're able to, let's say, develop awareness of your internal satiety cues, And what this means is that you learn to eat when you're hungry and stop when you're satisfied. You may even start to realize that unhealthy food really isn't that tasty after all. You may start to identify any emotions you may feel, so stress that could trigger binging. You may begin to enjoy the eating experience more, and as a result, you can enjoy life more when you're being more present. And then you also learn what works for your body. So you learn what food best fuels your exercise or your daily tasks. Simply put, here is a model for how you can slowly start incorporate mindful eating into your day. So it really is cyclical. Everything's interconnected when it comes to the eating and the emotional experience. So really when you're eating the next meal, ask yourself why. Am I eating now because I'm hungry? Am I eating now because I'm stressed? Am I eating because I'm bored, perhaps, because there's a show on and the snacks are within an arm's reach? Ask yourself, when do you want to eat? So do I have a habit of eating after a meeting that's very stressful? Do I have a habit of eating right before bedtime when I get the munchies at night? Ask yourself, what do you eat? What sort of nutrients can you gift your body during this time? Ask yourself, how do you eat? So do you chew? Are you are you a fast eater? Or do you slowly take your time to really enjoy the textures? How much do you eat? So are you eating and stopping when you're satisfied? Or do you stop when all the food is finished? And really, where do you invest your energy at the end of the day? So when you're eating, are you fully invested in your meal? Are you invested in the show that's on? Just really where your mind wanders and your energy wanders when you're eating. And by starting off simply by asking yourself these questions and raising awareness, over time you'll be able to be very good at paying attention to your meals and eating mindfully. However, there will be times when you forget to eat mindfully. Once again, I am no saint when it comes to healthy eating, but these are good guidelines to generally follow. So those were 3 big picture strategies that I shared. The first one was portion control with your plates or your hands. The second was learning to meal prep in advance to save time, energy, and money. And finally, learning to mindfully eat and stay present. So here's a list of the mini strategies. So these bigger picture strategies, as I like to call them, they're not something that you plan for, but you can use in your everyday work or home context. So in the mornings, simply staying hydrated, replacing caffeine with water or tea, or making a rule, for example, to drink a sip of water with every sip of coffee you take. Keeping healthy snacks at work, so perhaps a fruit basket, having a variety of foods, so changing the rainbow, eating the rainbow once again, like I like to call it. Having moderate portions, so using your hands or your plates to ensure. And food planning, so if you're going out to restaurants, looking at the menu before, seeing what types of menu items are lowest calorie or lowest in fat. Perhaps you can plan to order an appetizer and not dessert, compromising that way, or making a promise to have a side salad versus fries. And when you're at the restaurants, always aiming for things such as baked, steamed, grilled, or if it's soup, a broth-based soup. If it's a salad, a vinaigrette versus fried meats, any creamy sort of soups, or any battered fishes. So limiting sugary foods, salt, and refined grain products. Whenever possible, eating as fresh as possible. Once again, no food policing. So don't beat yourself up if you indulge in a treat once in a while. That's the part of life, right? And just get moving. So whether it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking further away in the parking lot so you can get more steps in, this really works in conjunction with eating well too. So when you eat well, you have more energy, you can expel that energy and get hungry again for your next nourishing meals. So that's all great. So the real question here, and you must be wondering, is I have all these strategies that I can use to improve my healthy eating, right? Now, how does this relate to the workplace? The reality is that we spend a significant portion of our hours while we're awake at work, right? So there's 40-hour work weeks when it get busy. Sometimes you spend more hours there as well. And you can definitely start to see how your work environment and the nature of your job can affect your overall health. So there's several different factors that can lead to, that can really just affect greatly your eating habits. The first one is the physical environment. So look around your office right now. There could be a lot of vending and coffee machines nearby, coffee machines with sugary lattes, cappuccinos, hot chocolates, perhaps mochas, just within arm's reach. Perhaps there's fast food vendors nearby. So is there a McDonald's nearby that's easy, quick food for lunch? And this physical environment can really help you, I guess, facilitate unhealthy food choices. So another big factor in the workplace is the social factor, right? So your company culture. Are there a lot of work parties? Are there a lot of events where there's catered food, but the food may not be as healthy? Is it a huge office work environment? Are you guys sitting in cubicles 40 hours a week? Are you guys completely sedentary? Or is it shift work? Is it shift overtime work? Do you work nights, which can really impact your eating habits? It can change your appetite. And finally, just personal habits as well, right? Like stress. Are you stress eating because of work? Are you stress eating at work? Are you eating lunch at your desk to save time because there's so much to do? Or are you taking, let's say, 30 minutes to an hour out of your workday to simply sit down and enjoy your meal? So think of all these factors in your workplace that can be impacting either positively or negatively your diet. So a lot of the clients that I work with right now, or companies I've worked with previously, do a lot for facilitating healthy eating habits. The first one is there's fruit baskets, which are amazing. I love how easily accessible, fresh oranges or like apples can be. The second is there's a lot of posters and email communications efforts that I see. There's newsletters, there's blog posts. Perhaps there's quarterly lunch and learns where you not only get to sample healthy foods, but there's a key speaker coming in showing you exactly how to prepare them and educating you on nutrition. Perhaps there's seminars, there's key speakers, perhaps you even have one-on-one counseling with dietitians and nutritionists, or in yoga classes as well. And these are all wonderful, and I always do recommend us continually running these. It's really great for running grassroots initiatives. However, really take some time and I guess stop and think, are there measurable results here beyond just raising awareness, impacting those who are already just interested in wellness? So these I find are really great for those who are already interested. Perhaps that's you, perhaps that's some of your employees and colleagues that are already interested in improving their eating habits. So how do we alter this or build off of it to ensure that everyone is getting these nutrition contents, getting this nutrition education versus those who seek it out by coming to the lunch and learns and booking those appointments with the dietitians? So the main way is really implementing a strategic company-wide nutrition agenda. So rather than running like ad hoc nutrition programs here and there, rather than having, let's say 20 employees sign up for the registered dietitian sessions, having a accessible, equal program for everyone is the way to be. So the first one is really changing the company culture, having top level exec, senior leadership really setting the example up there, focusing on overall outcomes. So rather than just having, let's say, a program, a lunch and learn that's focused on vegetables and vegetarian protein, for example, having that strategic and making the goal of that perhaps reducing cardiovascular disease and having that be the goal for all your content is a really great strategy. And finally, employee resilience, ensuring that being aware that not all employees may be interested in attending these nutrition programs you may be running, but taking that into account and ensuring that you're able to tailor it so it's really accessible for everyone and that every employee feels valued, every employee feels that they're being taken into account when you are running these programs. So checklist for nutrition initiatives, if you are looking to run more initiatives, or if you're the one in charge of them, or if you want to just create something as a nutrition champion in your workplace, is to gather past experiences. So go to your colleagues, go to your employees and ask them, what would you like to see from us? You know, what type of nutrition content will appeal most to you? And when you ask these past experiences from your colleagues, don't ask the ones who are already healthy, right? Ask the ones who maybe you've never seen go to the on-site gym you guys have, or someone that you wouldn't normally ask for wellness advice. Understand best practices when it comes to running programs. So really doing your homework, ensuring that you know, you're really keeping up to date with what's most engaging when it comes to running nutrition initiatives. Identify tools for healthy eating that may be accessible, really calculating the estimated ROI and the business impact that comes with running programs. So not only do you want to touch the lives and improve the health of your employees or your colleagues, but have it sort of a win-win situation in terms of ROI as well. Once again, getting that leadership support. So a company culture isn't going to change unless it comes from top down, right? So having their buy-in, having them lead by example, having them attend these and participate in these nutrition programs is vital. And implement targeted initiatives. So get help from vendors if you need, get all the support, but ensure that there is an outcomes focus for all your programs. And track results to ensure that not only are you engaging, you know, the majority, like 80% of your employees, but ensuring that there's a good value for investing time and effort into nutrition initiatives as well. Well, that's all for my part. Thanks, Abina, for having me, and I'm just going to pass the floor back on to her.
No, thank you for your expert advice. So now I'm going to give a quick background about Optimity, and what we essentially do is support you with the gamified and fun solution for workplace wellness. We work with Fortune 100 companies to create good practices to improve your quality of life at work and also drive down risk of developing many health conditions. So when I work with clients, I do see real problems for busy professionals like yourselves. First, there are multiple demands from leadership and colleagues. So there are a lot of great ideas that are coming up, but there's some trouble in setting priorities. I've also observed some difficulty in coordinating nutrition programs and lunch and learns. Many companies were dealing with a dispersed workforce, flex shifts, and a bimodal age distribution, namely millennials and mature baby boomers, both of which have different preferences. But you need to cater to both of their needs in order to keep wellness accessible to everyone. There are also new requirements, such as a need to provide holistic health beyond just nutrition, including mental health support and financial wellness education. So that's what we help with at Optimity. We make your life easier and keep you healthier. So one way that Optimity supports our healthy eating are our regular Friday power lunches. We enjoy each other's company while eating nutritious meals and really bringing a sense of community to our lunch breaks. That is such an important part of healthy eating, as it improves your relationship with your colleagues and food. And I find that it really helps us to connect as a team because we have the opportunity to share how we're feeling and what's going on in our lives and really distress from the week. So Optimity has a digital wellness platform that works through wearables and mobile apps to help you integrate healthy microactivities into your everyday routines. So this could be a mindful minute in between your client meetings or a reminder to drink water. You get points for doing the activity, which you can claim for rewards such as a $20 Starbucks gift card, and you can participate in fun competitions with your colleagues. So let me explain how the Optimity platform works and the components of our fully integrated ecosystem. It has a customized mobile app that is available in 3 languages and is accessible on any mobile device such as an iOS, Android, Amazon, Windows, and so forth. It can connect to over 250 wearables and apps, and we can also provide the wearables. We also have an advanced analytics that helps retarget content to address your highest health issues. So traditional wellness programs are designed by companies and usually include activities such as yoga classes and gym memberships, reimbursements that tend to be adopted by the super fit, or there is an on-site nurse and disease management program for those who are already sick. So you may have noticed it's really the same people coming over and over to these events, those who are already invested in wellness. But they're not the only ones who should be targeted with wellness, right? Optimity focuses on the overlooked middle majority, so the 80%. So here are some tips and best practices on how we help our clients get better results and with their diets. So the first tip is to go grassroots. You can practice with or without technology. So you can recruit a champion for nutrition and healthy eating across the organization, or you can volunteer to be the champion yourself. You can also build leadership culture within the staff. Having an in-person touch helps to push healthy eating content forward, and it makes it more effective. You can also decentralize the effort, but centralize the coordination and the results. So this can save hundreds of hours in admin work and just make things easier. I apologize for that. So my second tip is to go mobile. Everyone has a smartphone these days, and people are continually working more flex from home at different hours and on the go. So by implementing a bring your own device model, you can get the right information at the right time and also move off email notifications. And wellness emails are a thing of the past, as they rarely get checked or dealt with. A system like Optimity is helpful because it brings it to the mobile and wearable actionable items that give professionals more health boosts and more data. So yeah, in addition, you gotta go data-driven, you gotta get some metrics, leverage subject experts support, and improve and customize your offering over time. Okay, so Trista, how about we do a quick recap for our guests?
For sure. So I was really happy to show you, some nutrition education on a higher level, so really explaining macronutrients, what they are, where they're found in, and micronutrients as well. In addition, sharing 5 top healthy tips on how to get whole grains, lean proteins, fruits and vegetables, meat and alternatives, and milk and alternatives, and 3 strategies for how to incorporate them into your diet. So the first one is portion control with the healthy plate model and your 2 hands. The second is meal prepping to save time, effort, energy, money. And the last one is for every meal, just being mindful and present of what you're eating, why you're eating, how you're eating, and paying attention. I also talked briefly about company culture's impact on individual eating habits. So not only the physical environment, but the social environment, and also internally how you feel at work that can impact your eating habits. And I also shared a 2017 checklist on how to get started with a nutrition program at work that can create the biggest impact.
Mm-hmm. And I shared how a digital holistic platform like Optimity can be more engaging for employees and support employees in their nutritional health. So I covered digital solutions and best practices, tips on getting the most into strategic nutrition programs and holistic health, and how it can be scalable and engaging. So that brings us to the end of our webinar. And if you're looking to improve nutrition in your workplace or launch a targeted wellness program, please reach out to me at abina@myoptimity.com. Anyone in Toronto, please email Trista if you're looking to learn more about nutrition and mindful eating. So thank you for coming today, Trista, and have a lovely day, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for attending.